welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. India sends relief medical supplies to war-torn Ukraine. Exiled leaders apprise British MPs of grim human rights situation in POK, demand support. And 4 days Viva or Goa Carnival held in India's Punjab. Let's begin the show with India, which has been consistently sending humanitarian relief to Ukraine's border countries of Romania, Hungary and Poland in order to assist them in dealing with the refugee influx created by the Russia-Ukraine crisis. This is being done alongside India's massive evacuation endeavour, Operation Ganga, to bring back its stranded citizens, especially the students who could not leave the country amidst the rain of bullets and missiles. Hundreds of them have been safely brought back, and the government says it is committed to bring back all its citizens in coming days.
It's been 10 days since Russia launched a fierce military offensive against Ukraine. And while it is cruising through the territory of European nations, it is the civilians who have become most vulnerable to the indiscriminate firing and shelling. The government of India came into action as soon as its citizens, primarily the medical students who have been studying in the country, were stranded in the middle of nowhere. Operation Ganga was launched with an aim to bring back all students. Indian Air Force largest transport aircraft C-17 Globemaster were deployed. 4 top ministers for 4 border countries of Ukraine were dispatched to facilitate the mission. Not just this, New Delhi also sent humanitarian assistance to Romania and Hungary in the form of tents and blankets to help them deal with the refugee influx. The aircrafts were loaded with about 2,500 blankets and over 100 bridge tents for temporary relief. Advisories were released in time asking students to move to border areas from where they could be picked and airlifted back home.
The advisory that has just been issued by our embassy a little while ago and also by us on the need for our nationals to leave Kharkiv immediately is on the basis of information received from Russia. We would urge all our nationals to leave Kharkiv immediately to the safe zones or further westwards using any means available, including on foot, and keeping safety in mind.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with top ministers, has been reviewing all development personally. Modi also spoke with both the presidents of Russia and Ukraine about providing a safe corridor for civilians to move out. In what has been lauded by many experts across the spectrum, the war unofficially halted for several hours after the Indian government negotiated with the Russian side in order to provide safe passage to Indians stranded in the largely occupied Kharkiv. Modi stated during a rally that he was committed to bring back every single citizen of India.
ये भारत का बढ़ता सामर्थ्य ही है कि हम यूक्रेन में फंसे हमारे देश के नागरिकों को वहां से सुरक्षित निकालने के लिए इतना बड़ा अभियान चला रहे हैं। ऑपरेशन गंगा के तहत कई हजार नागरिकों को वहां से देश वापस लाया जा चुका है।
And while the aircrafts continue to shuttle, the government, with its embassies in all countries, has been ensuring a safe stay of students who have crossed over but are waiting for their return. Students were seen heaping praise on the government for the arrangements done at the border.
Feeling very safe. It was a very horrible time, and I'm happy that I'm able to come here. And thanks for the Indian government for arranging the flights and all. and I hope every friends of mine will make their way back home and will be safe.
Around 20,000 Indian students in Ukraine, mostly for medical studies. Most of them wanted to return last month after the government of India had issued an advisory asking them to leave temporarily. Many returned, but most of them were forced to stay as the universities were not allowing any online classes for them. However, the government has decided to bring back them safely. It has stepped up its efforts in the last few days and says it will stop only when each student is back with his family.
Ever since Pakistan illegally occupied a part of the then princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, it has been committing numerous atrocities on the people of the region. Their lands have been snatched, their natural resources plundered, and adding more to their worries, even their political leaders work in cahoots with Islamabad. Highlighting all these issues, POK activists recently urged the UK to use its influence and ask Pakistan to give Kashmiris their basic human and fundamental rights.
A delegation led by the exiled leader from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri, recently briefed the MPs from the British Labour Party, Richard Burgon and Fabian Hamilton, along with other community leaders at Leeds in the United Kingdom. The delegation raised concerns for the restoration of peace in the illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan and POK and the protection of rights of the citizens. Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri urged the leaders to ask Pakistan to repeal all the draconian laws that suppress the voices of Kashmiris and restrict their freedom of movement.
I met with some of the MPs, councillors and community leaders, and I explained and asked the MPs especially to put pressure on Pakistan that Pakistan should repeal all draconian laws which actually suppressed our voices, and we have no freedom of movement, no freedom of expressions. And even the diaspora Pakistani and Kashmiri, they are also received threats from the Pakistani authorities, and it is known to all. That's why I asked them that those people who lived in Pakistan or Pakistani peripheries, you can imagine their human rights.
Even after being aware of this fact that both its government and judiciary have no locus standi on the part of Jammu and Kashmir illegally occupied by it, Pakistan has never shied away from exploiting its resources and people. Even after calling it a disputed territory at international platforms, Pakistan has been consistently brute in ensuring that the region remains under its boots. Since 1984, when it abolished the state subject rule in the region to enable a massive demographic shift, it has left no stone unturned to snatch almost every civil right a society possesses inherently. Activists from POK like Sardar Shaukat Ali Kashmiri have again and again highlighted these issues at international forums, and this time too they put forth their problems before the British MPs.
All the MPs take interest and promise with me that they will address the concern of the Kashmiri peoples and convey the message to the concerned governments to respect the freedom of movement and freedom of expressions, and also to save the life and liberty of the state people.
Pakistan has always posed itself standing for the rights of Kashmiri people, but in reality, the barbaric occupier is itself denying the people of its illegally occupied territories their basic rights and resources. It has not only exploited the people and the resources of this region, but has also pushed it to a state of complete oblivion by framing unjust laws and policies.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
South Korea's landmarks in Seoul lit up in blue and yellow colors in support of Ukraine, in the wake of Russia's invasion of its neighbor. Major buildings including Seoul City Hall, Namsan Seoul Tower and Sabitseom floating islands were illuminated in colors resembling the Ukrainian flag as South Korea joined other nations calling for peace in Ukraine. South Korea announced sanctions on Russian banks and other measures on Tuesday, March 1st, a day after saying it would tighten export control on Russia and join the West's response to Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. The announcement comes a day after Seoul said it would ban shipments of strategic items that may include electronics, semiconductors and computers, and added it would join Western countries' moves to remove some Russian banks from the SWIFT international payment system. China issued new rules for the country's two largest mobile platforms as the government tightens oversight on the country's fintech sector. China is one of the most advanced countries when it comes to mobile payments. As the businesses grow, regulators have tightened restrictions on the fintech sector to check risks and ensure financial safety. The new payment rules issued by the People's Bank of China for Alipay and WeChat Pay took effect on March 1st, aiming to distinguish between business and personal transactions in an effort to better regulate and prevent financial crimes. The notice emphasizes the collection code is divided into personal and business collection codes. Anyone using a payment platform in a way that looks a lot like a business should use a merchant barcode, rather than an individual one to receive payments. Another new regulation is the restriction of the personal static collection barcode, which is prohibited in principle for remote non-face-to-face collections for most cases. This is the entrance to the business space Open Hub for Smart World, opened by Entity Communications in Tokyo. Open Hub Monolith is an authentication technology where a visitor can enter the premises after reading the code on the panel with a mobile device. Open Hub for Smart World with Entity's latest technology in Tokyo is a place where technologies from various fields come together to create new concepts and businesses aimed at social implementation.
我々が持っているようなさまざまな技術、アセット、知財みたいな経験みたいなものを生かしながらお客様の持っているアセットと掛け合わせて新しい事業を作っていければというふうに思っております。社会課題さまざまな領域でありますけれども、それをきちんと解決をしていって一社では解決しにくい時代になっているので、そういったものを競争によって解決する、それを支援するためにオープンハブというものを立ち上げました。
It's a meeting room with the image of water and nature. The windows are equipped with 5G antennas. Communication cable-inspired copper tables are designed from old wood and copper. It is a sustainable point of SDGs view. Visitors can participate through remote from faraway place. Entity Communications has developed many technologies to connect people.
さまざまな通信ですとか、あるいは音声解析ですとか、そういった技術がありますので、ICT を使った解決ということができます。また逆にお客様はいろいろな領域でのご経験だったり知見だったり技術だったり、あるいはその中で持っている課題というのがあるので、我々のそういったアセットと掛け合わせて解決を図っていきたいと思っております。
Entity's Open Hub, where technologies from various fields communicate, will be a place to solve many of the world's challenges in the near future. Washaku is a traditional Japanese cooking competition which has been attracting chefs from all over the world for the different delicacies, cooking method, ingredients and beautiful presentation. An international cooking competition, Washaku World Challenge, was organized by an online platform this time. 6 finalists from countries like USA, United Kingdom, Brazil were nominated for cooking creative Washaku dishes. They got the opportunity to learn authentic Washaku cooking from Japanese chefs. This lecture was delivered by YouTube.
韓国で日本料理関係の仕事をしているイ・ヒョンジョンと申します。今回貴重な機会をいただいて本当ありがとうございます。
At first, Mr. Nonaga reviews her cooking work. Lee's finalist dish is fish cook. She used ingredients that were difficult to get in Korea. In this lesson, Mr. Nonaga teaches how to handle ingredients, how to use Japanese knife, and how to arrange dishes considering with its color. The continuous efforts of Japanese authorities to popularize washaku contributes in expanding Japanese cuisine all around the world.
Locals of Kathua district in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir are receiving a healthcare facility at their doorsteps, and that too for free. All thanks to the central government for launching the first ever telemedicine facility on ambulance in the district. Equipped with latest lab technology, this ambulance service, Doctor on Wheels, was first launched in Doda, where it has successfully spent 3 months. Have a look.
Gone are the days when people in far-flung areas of Kathua had to cover long distances to see a doctor. With ambulance having telemedicine and teleconsultation facility running from pillar to post in the district, people are taking a sigh of relief. Launched as a part of Arogya Outreach Healthcare Program, this Doctor on Wheels ambulance service is the first healthcare service that will be delivered via digital mode. Equipped with latest lab technology, the ambulance also connects patients with specialist doctors in Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Surat and Ahmedabad if further medical advice is required. And in case a surgery is to be done, then the medical staff at the facility refers the patient to the Government Medical College, Kathua.
डॉक्टर्स ऑन व्हील्स ये प्रोग्राम हर गांव को जाते। अभी ये 7th लोकेशन जराई विलेज में है और ये विलेज में सारा लोगों को हर दिन हम लोग 100 को कवर कर रहे। पूरा प्रॉब्लम है हाइपरटेंशन एंड एसिडिटी, जॉइंट पेन प्रॉब्लम, ये लोग ज़्यादा है, इसको कवर कर रहे। और ये हमारा कैंप में होता, टेस्ट होता और दवाई देते और किसी को भी ज़रूरत पड़े तो डॉक्टर कंसल्टेशन भी मिलता। हमारे पास है 15 डॉक्टर्स कंसल्टेशन में है, मगर जिसका ज़रूरत है वो स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर को कंसल्ट करते। अगर ऑर्थो स्पेशलिस्ट है, ऑर्थो प्रॉब्लम है तो वो स्पेशलिस्ट को कंसल्ट करते। और जनरल फिजिशियन भी है, किसी को भी ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है तो उनको कंसल्ट करते। स्किन स्पेशलिस्ट है, स्किन का कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो इधर डर्मेटोस्कोपी होता, इसके अंदर फिर डॉक्टर को वही इमेजेस सेंड करते, उधर से कंसल्टेशन भी होता।
This ambulance service will cover 60 villages in a period of 2 months, examining over 5,000 people. People using this healthcare service are able to avail free medicines and super specialist consultation within a span of 1 hour. Different types of lab tests are performed at this facility, and the blood sampling of patients also takes place on spot. Locals are expressing their gratitude to the central government for taking such an initiative in coordination with Sahara Health and Development Society and O Health, which is its technology partner.
हर तरह ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਜਾਈਏ ਚੈੱਕਅਪ ਕਰਾ ਦੇਣ, ਜਿਹਨੇ ਕੀ ਬੀਪੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬੀਪੀ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਾ ਦੇਣ। ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਸਟਾਫ ਆਇਆ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੋਕੇ ਡੀਲ ਕਰਾਦਾ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਚਲੋ हर पिंड दे विच जरूरी है, कदी कदी चैकअप जनता दे होने चाहिए। और अगर जनता की सहूलत अपने विलेज में लभी जा, अपनी पंचायत में लभी जा, जनता ही होर के चाहिए।
मैं कहता हूँ कि ये ऐसी फैसिलिटी आज के युग में, आज के दौर में चाहिए, क्योंकि हर एक व्यक्ति है वो प्रॉपर हॉस्पिटल तक नहीं पहुँच पाता। अगर पहुँच पाता है तो वहाँ उसको सही ट्रीटमेंट नहीं मिल पाता। लेकिन यहाँ पे डॉक्टर्स आपके घर पे आ रहे हैं, लोगों को आह्वान कर रहे हैं कि आप आइए, अपने चेकअप्स कराइए, और जो भी फर्दर आपको ट्रीटमेंट की ज़रूरत होगी, जो ओ सहारा है, जहाँ ये सहारा ओ हेल्थ है, या सहारा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, इसको पूरा सपोर्ट करेगी। और उसमें आपका टाइम भी मिनिमाइज़ होगा, आपके पैसों की बचत भी होगी। तो कुल मिलाकर ओवरऑल ये सबका ये एक अच्छा एक इनिशिएटिव है। और इस इनिशिएटिव को लोगों को 60 गाँव में कठुआ के विलेज हैं, इनको उन्होंने कवर करना है, तो लोगों को इसको आगे भी सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Doctor on Wheels ambulance service was inaugurated by the Union Minister of State in the PMO, Dr. Jitendra Singh, on February 12 this year. Earlier, this service was started in Doda, where over a period of 3 months, 186 villages were covered, benefiting 3,600 people. If initiatives like Doctor on Wheels are taken on a regular basis, they can go a long way in solving the healthcare issues of people, especially in far-flung areas.
Today in our cultural section of this show, we take you to explore India's Goa Carnival, one of the most anticipated festivals of the state. The 4-day extravaganza provides a wonderful opportunity for revelers to soak in fun and frolic. Take a look.
A perfect blend of tradition and modernity, a 4-day-long Viva Carnival is one of the most awaited festivals of Goa. It is declared open by a lucky local who gets to play the role of King Momo and lead the parade through the streets of Panji amid cheering crowd. King Momo, or the King of the Carnival, is the prime character of this extravaganza. The word Momo is derived from the Greek god Momus, the god of satire. Tourists from different parts of the country as well as outside visit Goa to be a part of the fiesta and have a glimpse of the state's vibrant culture.
It is feeling good. This is the first time we have visited to this kind of carnival. So it's a new experience for us. So really feeling good, and along with kids, so they are also enjoying and everything.
The carnival is not started yet, so I'm just excited and I want to dance and sing and have fun with my friend. So thanks for organizing that, and let's see the weekend.
Different float parades accompanied by live bands and dances are the highlight of the carnival. Innovative minds are on display as they show the tendency to caricature even the most serious matters beautifully. This year, floats on issues like environmental conservation and coronavirus pandemic figured prominently in the traditional carnival. A series of placards with messages on same topics were also on display to create awareness among the masses.
This carnival is special because it's an eco-friendly carnival. We are taking care to minimize the use of plastics, and we are having a zero waste management when there will be no disposal of any, no litter, any waste.
Animal issues also drew the limelight at the parade. While one life-size rhino float sent a strong social message to save the rhinoceros, another float with a mechanized bull urged people to stop animal cruelty. Thousands of people were seen standing along the roadside to experience the unique celebrations.
It is amazing. It's a great experience that you could not think that you could have in India, but it's here.
First time I've visited on the carnival?
First time ever.
How is the experience?
Amazing. You're forgetting where you're coming from. You're forgetting that there was a pandemic that was happening. You can breathe now and you're really living.
Focused on feasting and merrymaking, Viva Carnival started in 18th century and is organized just before the beginning of Lent, a 40-day period of fasting and prayer. The carnival is exclusive and unique to the state and was introduced by the Portuguese who ruled over Goa for over 500 years. Though it fell into obscurity in between, but it was again resurrected as a minor street celebration in 1965.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.